Hello and welcome to another Colorado Conversation. My name is Ken Clark and I'm happy and excited that you're here today. We have a very special guest. She's an entrepreneur, she's a local, she's done it all. Julie Stevens is here with us today.
Nice to meet you.
It's good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now I'm excited to see you. I've read all about you, but people at home, people watching might not know who you are. So how do you describe yourself? Give us your backstory.
Oh gosh, I've tried to describe myself as probably just more like a designer, inventor.
Okay.
That's what I've done my whole life. That's my passion. But then at some point you got to monetize those ideas, and that's where the entrepreneurship comes in. So.
Okay. Now you make it sound so easy and so simple, but you've got a very long history. You were named J.P. Morgan Chase's 100 Women to Know.
That was such a huge honor.
When was that?
It's like 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did you achieve that status? What did that look like?
You know, they have an interview process. You get nominated and they have an interview process, and you just got to make it up through that process, and I was really lucky.
And you pulled it off, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you're sitting in a room with 100 women who I had such imposter syndrome. Oh my goodness.
Really?
These women had like double PhDs and ran charities, and I'm like, okay, I don't think I belong here.
But you do. Now, what people have noticed at home is the Betini. This is your brand.
This is my brand.
It started in 2015.
I know,
and
so long ago.
It feels like a long time ago. You made it through COVID.
Yes.
With this.
Yes.
Now, we were talking before we started the show, and I like knowing about how you started. You know, you're one of 7. I mean, that's a large family.
It's a really big family. Yes.
You said your dad was pretty strict. Mom sounds pretty strict as well.
Mom, heart of gold.
Really?
Most gracious, loving human being you'll ever meet.
But Dad was the taskmaster.
Dad was military.
Okay.
You know, he was Special Forces Army. So he ran us like like a troop. We were well behaved.
Well behaved, hands in pockets, best behaved kids ever.
Yeah, don't speak till spoken to. Yep, the whole thing.
He told you once to you know, don't give me excuses, give me results.
Yes. Yes.
Was that like the nugget that sat with you as you started this process?
That really does carry with me. And because of that, I think I have very little patience for people who just make excuses and don't ever deliver what they say they're going to deliver. It's like, if you give your word, that's really all you have. So if you give your word, keep your word. I mean, you know.
Right.
Unless someone's dying or in the hospital, you get a pass. But
those are big deals.
Yes.
So Betini, before 2015, you said this came out of a girls' trip.
Girls' weekend, yeah. We were like.
You want to talk about the girls' weekends before that weekend that this came out? Because that's probably some good. This is probably good stories
Girls' weekends are always fun.
That they would love to know that you shared with everybody online. You're not.
I'm not doing that.
Okay, fine. Talk about the girls' trip and who came up with this idea.
So it's actually one of my girlfriends came up with the idea to start our own ready-to-drink.
Okay.
And she had a business background, and she had a friend who had a flavorist background, and I have a design background. And they were looking at some other ready-to-drinks there on the market. We're like, Julie, you could design a better drink than this. And we talked to our other friend, and they're like, yeah, we could do a flavor for you. And so we started it together. And about a year and a half in, my friend who had the business background got a really huge promotion at her day job.
Uh-oh.
And she's like, I have to step down. And so I bought her out, and the flavor house said, I really need to just concentrate on my business.
Yeah.
And so I bought her out, and I had designed it already. I had created the bottle, I had patents on all my products, and I was like, by then it was my baby.
Wow.
And so even though I had zero experience on the business side or the sales side, especially not the sales side, hate sales, you know, I just kept going. And so it's been a huge learning curve. It's been really good for me. It got me out of my shell. I would have, before that, really preferred to just be sitting in my office designing stuff and not be out there in public. Did they just want
you to design the bottle? Like
the bottle, the branding, the logo.
And so for you, that's the easy part.
Well, and then once you do that, you still have marketing, right?
Okay.
You're still creating marketing pieces and displays, and there's a lot of, especially with a beverage brand, there's a lot of creativity that goes into it.
Well, and that's what I wanted to ask you about, because it feels almost crowded. It's like a crowded field is what they tell you. But you were able to bust through. Is it the flavor? Was it the bottle? Is it the name? Is it one thing?
I mean, I have to say I think it's packaging because that's what I designed.
Well, I mean, it matters
because it jumps off the shelf.
Right.
Like, and that's, you know, once somebody picks it up because it's pretty, it's halfway to their cart is kind of what I feel like.
Yeah.
And I don't have the Coca-Cola $10 million a year budget, right?
Singing bears?
Yeah, I don't have that.
Not yet.
Not yet. Maybe next year.
Maybe
right?
next year.
So I had to make sure it jumped off the shelf, and then the product inside is really good, and it's made with premium spirits.
Okay.
It's low cal, low carb. It's like all the, if you had a list of check marks that you wanted to have, I made sure they all got checked. So yeah.
How do you go about starting something like this? You know, think about that. We're going to take a quick break.
By not thinking about it.
But that's all what we do. So she's going to take a break because I want to know how did you design the bottle? Who did you use to put the liquor? Where do the flavors come from? How did you get all of this from
a lot of components.
From single ingredients out to something that people are loving, and they've been loving it for 10 years now.
Yeah.
For 10 years. We're going to take a quick break. We have Julie Stevens. She's the CEO of Betini and entrepreneur. Fantastic. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. Betini and Julie Stevens. She's the CEO and founder of Betini, but she's also done so much more. But right before the break, I wanted to ask you the question about how you go through the process of doing all the research to go from an idea sitting around the table, because we have another show here, Julie, on the FOX31 Plus app. It's Daybreak Plus, and we have a segment we call $1 Million Ideas, where you're just sitting there, you're talking about things, and you're like, that's $1 million idea.
The napkin idea. Yeah.
What's the napkin idea?
Well,
you wrote it out.
Yeah,
on a
you wrote
napkin.
on a napkin. I mean, that's like the classic thing, right? You're drinking with your friends and you have a napkin idea and it turns into the $1 million idea.
And that's this.
Yes.
So, but it's so much more than that, because you have to, you design the bottles, but where do you start? Where did you take that idea and then bring it all the way to the market?
I mean, in terms of designing packaging, the first thing I did is I wanted something that gravitated towards women, because I felt like there was so much alcohol on the market that was geared toward men. And I'm like, okay, 80% of shoppers in the grocery store are not men.
Yeah.
So I wanted.
And if the guy's in there, he's on the phone with his wife trying to figure out
what the heck to do.
That's exactly what I do.
So I went to a perfume store and picked up as many bottles as I could. I wanted the bottle not just to look pretty, but to feel good in my hand. And I really liked everything that had kind of an hourglass shape to it, for two reasons. One, I wanted it to be low calorie, so we're all trying for that hourglass bottle. I haven't made it yet, but I hope to someday. And two, my hands aren't real big.
Okay.
So when a woman picks up a bottle of wine, or especially champagne, you almost need two hands because it's too big. But because the waist is smaller, it feels really nice in my hand. So.
And it's a good looking bottle.
Yeah.
It's clear to read. Ingredients. Reading up on you, you said, listen, if you're going to take anything to market, you have to do the research and make sure that the people that are in your pipeline are the quality that you need.
Yes, yes.
And does that take the longest? It seems like the idea was quick.
Idea's quick.
But then to get it.
I mean, there's always finding the right vendors to help you is hit and miss a lot of times. You get referrals as often as you can, but even then, they may have done a great job for someone else, and then when it comes to your project, they weren't the right fit, right?
Okay.
So I got really lucky with the Flavor House in California. They were the third one that I tried, though.
Oh.
Yeah, and I love them. They're amazing. And so, everything is natural and kosher, and all the bells and whistles that you look for in a product.
What was licensing like? Is alcohol one? It seems like would be one of the harder things to bring to market.
Alcohol is under the same government. It's called the TTB. It's tobacco, firearms, and alcohol. Like it's
the ATF.
Yeah, it's like one of the hardest places to get licensing. Yeah, you have to get federal background checks, fingerprinting.
Make sure that you're legit.
Yes, and it takes 6 months to a year just to do that.
And
so
it can't be cheap.
It's not actually that expensive to get the licensing.
Okay, so it hits market in 2015. Things were rolling along.
Yeah.
And then COVID.
Yeah, we got into Kroger right out the gate in 2015. That was my first order was with Kroger.
And you said you hate sales.
I had a salesperson. I hired a salesperson.
So they landed Kroger. What is that pitch like? Is it like Shark Tank almost, where you have to go in there and you're like, hey, I've got this great this great idea. Can we put it on your shelves?
Yeah, pretty much. And you need to know your numbers, and your packaging has to be right, and you have to be able to keep up with quantities and everything else. So we were just in California in like the Ralph's. That was the Kroger brand in California at the time. And then we branched out into Vaughn's, Albertsons, Pavilions. And then COVID hit, and simultaneously, my distributor got bought out by a bigger distributor. And they managed us out of all those grocery stores during COVID. So after COVID, I had to like start over. Yeah.
Are you back in?
No, we're not. We're still not in California, but we've got a huge following on the East Coast, and especially in like the southern states. So.
And it said somewhere here in Colorado you had over 1,000 locations to pick up Betini. Was that?
I don't think that's accurate. I think, yeah, it's a couple hundred, but it's not 1,000.
But it's still growing.
It's growing, yeah. We just got that distributor like a year ago.
Well, that's some big news.
Yeah, very cool.
Anybody famous taking pictures with drinking
drinking Betini? I don't think so.
Not yet.
Not yet, no.
Not yet.
No, we haven't gone down that road.
It's interesting. All right, so we're going to take another quick break. We're going to come back and talk more about this and also what you have planned up there in Idaho Springs.
Yeah, that's a fun project.
That's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. So we'll be right back.
Okay.
What a perfect topic as we head into summer. Nice, relaxing, low-calorie drinks, local. They're healthy, you know, gluten-free. I mean, as healthy can be, right, Julie?
I mean, it is alcohol.
Right, there is alcohol, so in moderation, right? Yeah. But it is another option. So right before the break, we were talking about the next adventure that you've got planned up in Idaho Springs. But before we get there, what's your favorite?
My very favorite is you can mix them too. Okay. You drink them just straight, just chill them and pour them, or you can mix them together. And I love to mix the pink cranberry Cosmo with the Appletini. It makes a delicious cran apple martini.
Is it
so
a 50-50?
Yep, 50-50.
50-50.
And it looks like a rosé. It looks like you could put it in a wine glass and pretend you're drinking wine when really you've got vodka, which is awesome.
Rosé all day, as they
exactly.
say. Now, with the smaller ones, you've got this little thing. Did you design the bucket too?
I did. Okay. Shaped like a flower. And one of the things I always get annoyed with when I entertain is you take the bottle out, it's nice and chilled, and now you got to try and jam it back in.
Into the ice?
Into the ice, and it doesn't jam back in,
no.
Right? So this bucket was designed, I don't know if the viewers can see it or not, but it has like an inner bucket.
This little white bucket comes out of here.
You can't take it out when the bottles are in there.
There's real ice in there.
So you fill the inner bucket with ice, and then the bottles stay chilled, and you can just pull them out and put them in. Yeah. And it's a really cool shape. It's shaped like a flower, so it's great for the kids for sandcastles after. So.
Sure. Good ideas. Okay, so now we know how to mix it and get your favorite flavor. You've got a non-alcoholic version as well.
It's a completely different line.
Different line.
Yeah, so I'm launching this fall a line called Well Done. Okay. And it's a kind of a play on words. It's meant to replace your well. You know, you go to the bar and you're like, you go to the bar and you're like, what's in your well, right? So Well Done is a premium line of well spirits, and then we have the mock spirits that match the flavor profiles of the actual spirits. So it's well done both ways.
You could have, because the mocktails are really taking off too.
Yes, they are. A lot of people are really curbing their alcohol intake, which is great, so much healthier.
Sure.
People like to do what they call zebra striping, where they have a cocktail and a mocktail and a cocktail and a mocktail. And it kind of, so they always have a glass in their hand. They feel like they're still part of the celebration, but you know, they can drive home later, which is really good.
You need to be safe. Yes, exactly. You need to be safe. That's all good news. And so you're branching out and you're expanding and you continue to evolve.
Yeah.
And we're moving so beyond COVID. Like, we're done with that.
I'm done with that.
We're
That's
now
over.
crushing it.
We're not talking about that anymore.
We are not. That is the name that shall not be mentioned. Okay, Idaho Springs.
Yes.
You've got this amazing little adventure going on up there, and it's been going on for years. So we have a picture of the storefront. When you see the storefront, what's your first reaction? Is it yay or is it wow?
It's like, what was I thinking? No, I'm still very excited about it because it's like my pet project. So I bought this old opera house in Idaho Springs. Okay. And don't get excited, it's not like with the fancy ceilings and everything. It was, every little town in Colorado has an opera house. Right. It was kind of like their town hall. It's basically a big brick building. And
long and narrow.
it was being used as a retail shop, and there was an accountant in there. It was this mishmash of people that were in there. So I waited until they each found a new home and moved out, and then we started, to do a little digging to see
a little renovation,
and found out that the entire thing, this 100-year-old brick building, was built on rubble, which is basically boulders in mud.
So not very structurally sound.
No.
Maybe for back in the day, but building codes today are different.
A little different. And so then back to structural engineering we went, and trying to figure out how to underpin it without putting this beautiful brick building in danger, because it's a historical building. And
there's only so much you can do.
yeah.
You have to keep the facade.
Yes.
There's a lot of rules with that.
A lot of rules.
Did you know going in that it was going to have potential issues? I mean, because building codes back in the day weren't like they are now, and so how do you know what's under the foundation?
You know, I could tell that like the second floor, that the floor was like this a little bit, and I'm like, okay, well, we'll put sister the joists up and it'll be okay, right? I had no idea the foundation was crumbling. That is a much bigger can of worms. So
is that because where it sits, is that with all the buildings located next to it, that whole row?
Yes, the whole row would have been built that way. I would.
Wow.
Yes, yes.
So you're the first move for a lot of these buildings that are going to have to probably see something like this.
You know, I don't know. There's some buildings like a Bojo's Pizza is 2 doors down from us.
Okay.
And I've been in their basement, and I've been in Tommy Knocker's basement, and they've done some like shotcrete and stuff. So they've done things to reinforce. We're wanting to put a recording studio in our basement, so it has to be a little bit different level than just shotcreting the walls and using it for storage. It has to.
What's the vision of this building?
The vision is really to give back to artists, to pass the baton. So many of my peers, I'm old.
We are not old. We are young.
Okay, well, some of my young peers.
All these other people who think they're old.
Right, we're kind of at that age where we would like to pass the baton, and the school system is not as robust in like arts and music and things like that as I feel like children need them to be.
Did you play an instrument as a kid?
Never, no.
I did. I was the trumpet kid.
I took piano for 1 year, and the teacher told my mom not to waste her money.
Oh, wow.
It was pretty
Usually
brutal.
the piano teacher's like, no, she needs
No,
more.
it was pretty brutal. Anyway.
I did, but you're right. As soon as I got into junior high, or maybe it was high school, it wasn't cool to carry that trumpet around anymore, and they didn't really offer those classes anymore, so you just dump it.
Right. So my goal is to have this recording studio where young musicians can come and record, and then stream live events, you know, with a small group of their friends out into the world.
Wow.
And then we're going to have a layer of classrooms where we teach traditional art, you know, drawing, painting, pottery.
Okay.
We're also going to have like some 3D printers and a CNC machine and some kilns, so that you can kind of bridge that gap between old school and new school.
Which is where everything's going.
Which is where everything is going.
You know, the kids love those 3D printers. What's the time frame? Because you've got a lot of work to do before you can kick these doors open.
We're looking at, they're just finishing the shop drawings for doing micro pylons to support the foundation. They're a couple weeks behind on that right now. Sure. And then it'll probably be a year and a half after, once that gets stamped by the city.
But see, that's just part of who you are. People at home don't know that you decided to give back long ago at this project. That's kind of what Betini is, and your philanthropy and all you've done.
Yeah, I love doing charity events. If anybody wants to hit us up for charity events, we love to come and serve at charity events. It's like my favorite thing.
Yeah.
So, because I get to see people enjoying the product, and I know I'm helping. So,
and you can ask, you can take like little surveys, like which one did you like better? What did you think about this one? You know, like
it's weird. It's
secret shop.
Yeah, it's people in different parts of the country like different flavors. It's very interesting, people's flavor palettes.
Now, before we run out of time, because you've done so much throughout your professional life, what advice do you have for somebody out there, maybe friends who are sitting around the table and they had that $1 million napkin idea? What's your advice?
Take the time to do a business plan. I'm one of those people who just jumps in and then tries to figure it out later. Do not be me. And really research your vendors. And if you're doing something where you have to manufacture, go visit the manufacturer before you complete your design. Go find out what the capabilities are. You know, what if you need to fill bottles and you know there's a local bottling facility that you want to use, go see what kind of bottles they have the machines to fill. There's a lot of steps down the road. You don't want to design yourself into a corner that can't get made at a price that will sell.
Interesting, because if you've designed the perfect bottle, but they can't fill it.
Then
Maybe only one place can fill it.
Then you're buying bottling machines, which is what I had to do for the minis because I was married to my design.
And you didn't want to give it up.
And I didn't want to give it up. I wanted to have the same profile as my big glass bottles, but be, outdoor friendly, hiking, biking, boating, etc.
Yeah.
And
now you own it.
I do.
So it was probably a big jump, right?
It was a huge jump, but yeah, now I own my own bottling line, which is really cool.
Can I ask, what are the numbers for something like this? Should we talk numbers? How much does a bottling machine cost? Just between you and me.
I mean, brand new, a bottling machine could cost over $1 million. I went the other way. I bought used, and then we fixed them. So, wow. and then you're talking like tens of thousands instead of.
All right. So Betini, where do people find it? In Colorado.
In Colorado, we're in a lot of small liquor stores in Colorado. So please DM us at betinispirits.com or Betini Spirits Instagram.
It's all over, yeah.
Yeah, and we'll get right back to you and let you know. Tell us your zip code or go to our website and put your zip code in, and we'll get right back to you.
And then for those charity events that you've signed yourself up
yeah,
for, is that the same one?
DM us on Instagram, absolutely.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Any last words before we wrap this one up, Julie? I am so impressed with what you have done, and reading your bio and meeting you in person, it's been an honor. So
thank you.
Maybe those are the last words.
I think the honor is mine. Thank you for having me. This is so cool.
I think the fact that you're a lady, that you're an entrepreneur, you're a CEO. When people read your bio, you didn't start off doing this.
No.
There was golf involved somewhere around here.
Yeah,
you didn't even talk about that.
I did. I patented a golf product. Absolutely.
What is it?
It's here. It's in that cart over there.
Wait, what? Can I find it?
Yeah, it's right on top, right there, in that orange box.
What is this? Putt around. Do you see this? Okay, tell me about this one.
So this is it's a putting cup, like an executive putting cup.
Oh, for the boss who's working.
Yeah, working exactly. So you can customize the flag with your logo.
So the ball then just goes in there and hangs out.
It does.
You've made your hole.
And you can putt into it from any direction. And they're great actually for tournaments. You can put them, you know how at the golf course, the tournaments, the green is always so crowded because everybody's trying to practice their putting right before the tournament. You can just put them out on the green and add some more holes.
Are you a good golfer?
I'm a terrible golfer, but I love being out. It's just so beautiful. Golf courses are gorgeous, right?
It's nice and relaxing. I'm a terrible golfer too.
Yeah, but it's fun.
And I'm kind of proud of that. I'm like, yeah, we'll go out, we'll have a great time.
Yeah.
Everyone will beat me.
And I'm okay with that.
And me too.
Like, I'm there to have fun. If you want to be stressed out at golf, that's your choice.
Julie Stevens, the CEO of Betini, thank you for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Congratulations on all your success,
Thanks.
and we'll see you at the next office party.
All right. Yeah, please.
That'd be great. That'd be totally great.